Do you think there's a pressure for us to succeed in this world and to earn a certain salary or earn a certain amount of money and be wealthy and live in these houses and drive these cars and all these different things?
100%. It's so unbelievably perverted how far it's gone. And I think this is the thing. I think the people's strive to have money that they can spend on things is so strong that people are willing to go way further than they were before. One, like, we're living in a different world now. It's harder than ever, to get started. Like, the cost of living and everything, the employment, it's just, it's all a fucking shambles. But aside from just, money to survive, the Instagram world, which I am aware that I also am part of, promoting a lifestyle, to people, and I'm part of that problem. But that is a big issue. And I think it's an issue in the sense that young people, girls 16, 17, thinking they need to carry Chanel handbags and they need to have, is crazy to me, because it's like, when I was that age, although I had a very privileged upbringing, obviously I went to boarding school, none of us had that shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was like for you, your school, but
I never had any of that either.
You guys all had Chanel handbags.
Yeah, I wasn't given shit. I honestly wasn't. I was given nothing.
And I never really craved after it. Like, never thought about, my mum had that stuff. And I was like, because like, she was a woman, and that's like, I never felt as a teenager, that was something I needed to have.
There was no way of reaching kids as consumers then. Now kids are so reachable from
That's
an early age, right?
Yeah,
so it's like, they're like, oh my God, I want a
That's
Chanel
so
bag.
right.
But even my brother, at the end of his school experience, like when I would drive down there and see him at his boarding school, it's like I would watch these kids like rolling out of the boarding houses, looking like they fell over in Selfridges.
Yeah, and driving with Porsches and shit now.
Around in the clothing, yeah. And I was like, it just already, you could see the change, because he's growing up in the like TikTok, he's 10 years younger than me, generation, where he was really like, when he was like asking for designer things at such a young age for Christmas and birthdays. And I was like, it's so weird compared to stuff I was asking for when I was 15. Was like,
we become adults so much. The younger generation becoming adults so much quicker. I got an 18-year-old bro, and some of the stuff that I hear these young kids are doing now, like at 15 years old, we were starting to have sex or whatever like that. It's like 12. Like,
I know.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it's really bad. Do you live though? The thing, you would go on like a serious interview, right? And someone would ask you, they'd go, do you not feel like you have a responsibility as a public figure to be doing this for the younger generation and, whatever, and setting a good example? And actually, I think I want to hear your thoughts on that, but also secondly, what I think is good is that actually you're incredibly real. You're like, shit, I love buying shit, but I've earned that. I can do that myself.
Yeah.
And so how do you juggle with that?
Like, it's interesting because, like I just said, it's like I think it's a problem, but then I'm very aware that half of what I post could potentially feed to that problem. What I'd say is, like, I'm a 31-year-old woman. I think financial independence for women is so fucking important. And if I can, like, anything I can say to like young girls is like, make sure you've got your own shit. Like, don't be in a situation where you ever need to, be at the mercy of someone else to buy something for you. Like, you just have that. Like, it's so appealing. And honestly, there's been times over lives, people I've dated, I could have stopped working. Way fucking easier, like, than trawling my ass around doing all the shit I've done. But it's like, that is just a slippery fucking dangerous road. So,
but why? Did you go deeper into that?
Like power imbalance.
Yeah,
right?
I just think for everyone, let's generalize it, but obviously it's normally the woman-man situation, like where girls can find themselves, women, it's very appealing if you date someone wealthy and they tell you, don't work, you don't need to work, you don't need to do this. It's all great until it isn't. So I think having your own money, so I'm like very big on girls having your own money, buy your own shit. I don't, when I want a handbag, I buy it. I don't go and ask Brad for his card. I buy it myself, and I get a big kick out of that. And I think, I've all my ducks in a row. I've got, the money where it needs to be. I'm not just spending to show stuff to people. I'm the age that I am, like you say, it's like I always say to my followers, like, when I was 18, 19, I didn't have this shit. I didn't want it for a start, but I understand that they are being fed stuff through the internet, which makes them think they need it or they should have it. If they don't have it, they're failing, which is just, to me, it's just crazy, because yeah, like you're a
I'm with
kid.
you.
Like,
It's
why
like
do you need?
we've almost become like unintentional advertising tools
I know,
without realizing
and
it.
it's really hard. And do you know what? And I've had this battle, I've had this conversation with my agent, this conversation with loads of people. If you go on my page, I don't think it's like, I'm not one of those influencers, like it's not heavy on products and what I buy. I sprinkle it in purely because when I know that my followers love to see it. And when I don't, they message me like, why are you not like, what have you bought recently? And it's the kind of thing, they want to see it. So it's like, why am I not sharing it with them? But I've toned it down massively, like over the last year. But obviously some people's profiles are purely dedicated to unboxings and shopping, and like that's their thing. And people and I love watching people getting shit. I love watching people in houses that I know I can't afford. I love seeing that shit. But I think, consume mindfully as well. It's like, I think if you're looking at stuff, and we can't control the influence that other people, the internet has on them. Like, it's like,
I agree.
If you're watching something that's making you feel shit, unfollow it. Don't fucking look at it.
I agree with you.
He played his role very well, and I fell into my role being the villain, and he was like the little baby that was like
people do it. You fall into these roles,
and it happens. And the story, and it's not like anyone pulled us to one side and like you're the villain. It just happens naturally.
That's what's so weird about reality TV, especially now as well, because people have they've seen it, right? So they've been brought up with it. So now these guys that go on it, they're like self-producing themselves so much. It's quite freaky.
Yeah, it is.
Like the kids on Made in Chelsea. I say kids, it makes us sound really old. But like towards the end, it was a completely different kind of version. Do you know what I mean? Like people were really self-producing.
Man, I was playing a complete role.
I mean, you were always self-producing yourself from the beginning.
Yeah, I just
script.
Yeah. Honestly, writing it the night before. Yeah. Like Ernest Hemingway. Hemingway. But honestly, by the end, because I was just like, well, this, I don't know. But it's tough. It's hard, or I think it's hard on the soul, especially something. And I don't really want to like dwell on Love Island because I think that was ages ago for you. But being in a hothouse for like 8-9 weeks or something like that, doing any kind of thing, that's intense on the mind.
It's really intense. Like I say, I honestly, genuinely, and I don't speak for other people when I say this. My experience was great. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And I look back on it with really, I laugh when I think about memories from being in there. But it is tough. Like it's 10 weeks we did on mine, and like you just no contact on the outside. And obviously you're in relationship, you're dating someone you just met. They're like, here you go, you're going to share a bed, you're going to brush your teeth together, go for a shit together. Like, it's very intense. And then we're going to play games, and that's what you sign up for. So I do think, people going forward, it's like, if you don't think you're up to it, don't fucking do it. Like, don't do it and then be like, oh my God. And then they send them to Casa and more. It's like, well, you know that because you've watched it for 4 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I was fully up for it, but it is tough. And you definitely, my personality, like I definitely struggled, I guess, with the freedom aspect, and
feeling if you're trapped at any point.
I just wanted like half an hour to go to Zara and just like mooch around, just let just cool off. But you just don't get that. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, we're bros in this area. You got ADHD.
Yes.
Yeah. How does yours manifest itself?
It's changed over the years, to be honest with you. I mean, at school I was hyperactive.
Yeah, nightmare.
It's like seriously impulsive. I used to do like some weird shit at school.
Like what? What would you do?
Just do dumb shit. Like, like I remember being in art class and there was like a pot of paint on the edge like that at the table, and I was just looking at it and I just went, fuck off. And it just went everywhere. And the teacher was like, the hell are you doing? And I started crying, and I was like, I don't know. It told me to. So that kind of shit was exhausting, to be fair.
I told you this story before.
Do you have ADHD?
Yeah. I got diagnosed when I was a kid. Maybe about like 12 or something like that. And I just forgot about it. I just didn't think about it. And then when I went to school, I had my English teacher said to me, and I was like all over the place. And he said, and I went, "Oh, sir, I have ADHD." And he went, "No, you don't. You're just stupid." And I went, "What the fuck?" And then I went, "Maybe I am. Maybe I'm just.
Everything makes sense.
I'm just stupid." But it's hectic. And so I remember I had it where my friend Was it? I can't. James Lease was sitting in front of me, and I had my pen like that, and I just saw the top fellow had an ink cartridge, and I just went this, just threw it, and honestly went all over his back, and I was like, what have I just done? Like, it's like these weird like tics and things like that. The problem though with ADHD, which I have, it's a superpower in lots of ways, but also it leads to like anxiety and things that do you, and also dealing with, coming out of the jungle, whatever it is. How do you deal with anxiety and things?
Like you say, and the Love Island thing again, with the way I was in there, when I mentioned about ADHD, I never use ADHD for an excuse for bad behaviour. No way. If I say something that's out of line, it's out of line. But it's the impulsivity that, that makes good TV. Because I'd say things, and I still do it now, a lot less, because I have a lot more coping mechanisms. But I'd say things, and then 10 minutes later, I'd be like, I didn't mean that. It's like word vomit, the impulsivity kind of presents itself in that way. And I guess it's like that. I think everyone's quite used to this saying now. It's like that feeling of having 100 tabs open on a computer, and that's what the brain's like. So when I'm really busy, I have to be so insanely organized to cope. And that's how I've always been since I was a kid, actually. So some people with ADHD, they're just very messy, and they just kind of live in the mess and the chaos. I've always overcompensated. I was the only 12-year-old, color coordinating my wardrobe, and my mum was like,
"Were you?
She's a serial killer."
You were doing that as a kid.
My teddies were lined up. I knew where everything was. When I used to come in my room after school, I would be able to see that corner of my eye that someone's moved my picture frame. I knew my sister had been in my room, like a spidey sense, like an ADHD sense. I'm like, white t-shirt number 4 has been moved. But that was that was my coping mechanism. That helped me. It's a feeling of getting some control, isn't it? When everything feels out of control, you find your way. And it's with ADHD, it's people with ADHD have way higher risk of getting into addictions, things like that, because it's just finding a way of coping, whether that's through alcohol, through being obsessively organized, through medication, whatever. But my thing is being organized, and that's how I keep control on it.
It's funny you say about organization. My Sophie has she has that insane cleaning, and leading up to our wedding, she's so anxious about everything that all she's doing is cleaning all the time. Yeah. And I know it's why is she cleaning? She's just cleaning everything. And she had that as a kid. It's a sense of control.
Is she ADHD?
She has something, and she's actually she has something freaking intense. But she is getting tested for it now because it's all about control.
Yes.
I don't need control so much, but you obviously have that.
Yeah, I've struggled definitely, and it's hard, especially in this industry. You guys can definitely relate. It's making documentaries, reality TV, whatever. The scheduling is always so ad hoc and interchangeable, and it's still struggle with it big time. When it's tomorrow I'm shooting, but it's start time TBC, and I'm like, it's not gonna fucking work for me. Yeah. I need to visualize my day. And I obviously just have to get on with it, and that's the way this TV works. But yeah, I need that. I need to see things laid out on a week, how it's gonna be.
Diary, you put it all in, then you feel so much better.
And I do everything handwritten. I'm the only person walking around 2023 with a handwritten diary, just because I feel that's another little ADHD thing that I think, well, one, the screen time, doing the social is off the fucking chart. So anything to bring me off screen helps, and just writing things down helps, and then crossing them off.
Just quickly, also, I got just one more thing. You got dogs, right? We just got a puppy. It's hard.
It's fucking hard.
It is unbelievably hard. Does it get easier?
Yes.
And they become adorable and nice and lovely?
Yeah, the puppy stage is the worst. It's it's a toddler, isn't it? It's just farting, shitting.
Almost makes you anxious at the beginning.
Yeah, it's really, I enjoy my dogs. Well, Lola's 2, Stitch is 7 months, so she's just coming out of it now, and I just enjoy them so much more.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What breed have you got?
So Lola's a Carpathian, Caucasian Shepherd mix.
Sorry?
Bit of German Shepherd. She's
big.
Yeah, big, mountain shepherd dogs. And then Stitch is a Rottweiler.
Okay.
But they become more fulfilling, right, and things like that.
Just you get way more. They just calm down. Their presence is just easier.
And they become fulfilling.
What do you mean?
Just reassure him, please.
What do you mean?
Do you love having your dogs?
Yes.
More than anything.
He's basically saying, is there a stage where you don't want to kill it?
Yeah.
What is it? You really not bonding with this dog?
It's only a month, and I'm like, are you fucking little shit, keeping me awake all the time?
What does he cry?
He is a she, and she cries all the time. She's sweet though. I do like.
There's this empathy thing.
Try
that we
Classic
spoke about.
FM. They like soothing music.
All right. All right. Look, I'll tell you this one thing. On Love Island at the moment, they've done the social media ban. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's so freaking sad that it's got to the point that people consuming the show can't control themselves enough to just enjoy the show without abusing the family members of the Love Islander, because that's what it's all about, right? It's like the family members run the social media account, and what was happening is they were facing such abuse during the time that the person's in the show. It's to prevent that. So if they don't post, then there's nothing for like the trolls to interact with. And I just think, look, obviously, I think Love Island made a good call there. I just think it's so sad that that's even had to be a call. Like, do you know what I mean? What a mess. It's a reality TV show. It's meant to be light and funny. It's not meant to be like, you know, Karen from like, you know,
just
die for not picking Ben. Like, you know,
I
like
totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. I think that's
take
a
a
great.
deep fucking breath.
And relax. It's just fun,
Relax.
entertainment. Chill the fuck out,
It's
everyone.
meant to be fun.
Chill the fuck out. Chill the fuck out, all
You
right?
can't handle it. Don't watch it.
Don't fucking watch it. Liv, before we go, what do you value in life?
My dogs,
Okay.
my bags. My fiance is lovely.
There's a rumor as well that you coined the term ick.
Look, I don't want to get into legal stuff. Yeah, I feel like I maybe heard it years ago. I don't want to say I ever came up with it because I swear, and I'm not sure, but like old Sex and the City, someone said it. So I don't want to sit and say I was the first one to ever say it. But in terms of our current pop culture, yes. I said it in Love Island, and then everyone said it ever since. I also should have done a "You okay, hun?" because that was my little thing I used to say all the time in Love Island. "You okay, hun?" And now people just say it, and it's just words. They can borrow them, but just don't forget where you heard them.
What is your biggest ick in life? It's quite a hard thing to answer.
I've got quite a few. I'm just trying to think of something that's like not too controversial.
Say some controversial.
No, go with the
Go
controversial.
with
People
the-
with those dogs and they cut the ears off.
What?
With the cropped-eared dogs.
Oh, the
Dobermans.
Dobermans. Yeah, that's bad.
So have they cut them? Is that
Big
No,
one.
that's illegal. You put them up right.
They're
yeah.
everywhere at the minute. They're all over Cheshire. Small penis energy. Vile. I'm just like, you might as well be like, I have a tiny penis and this dog is going to compensate for me.